Aloha, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here. Family calls me Raleigh. I invite you to use that name. About this time in my life, by the way, I use this picture to remind me that I'm exactly the same as I was then. Yep, the inner Raleigh, or Rollin Frost, is exactly the same as this being you see in front of you. One of the happier times in my life. Shortly after I got outside and began to climb trees like crazy and explore caves, anything I could get into. And then me and my neighborhood chums went through this weapon making period that was really fun. Any kind of stick turned into a spear. Pretty soon we're making hatchets and swords and all kinds of things. Must be instinctive in the human person. Anyway, the lesson here is you're exactly the same too. That's the unchanging one. You could chop off your arms and legs. It won't diminish that one. No, and it goes on. It doesn't die. You've been fed a line of crap by a bunch of pseudo-religious fanatics who get privileged positions and feeding you this line. Oh, you're going to die and either go to heaven or hell. No. That person you see inside you at age 4, 5, 6, 7, that one is exactly the same you are now. 70 years ago, there I was. And here I am. Body got older. Gee, what an adventure. But I didn't. No. Anyway, remember that. And get a little distance on the body and who you are and begin to get into the audience and off the stage. And you'll have a happier life. All right, we're going to we're going to start show 928. 928 weeks I've served you. We're going to start it with the sky mirror. And so we can take our time here because I know you're into that. And I am too. We're going to cover the second week in September, leading up to a Pluto station on the 23rd of September. We're going to talk mostly about that. Anyway, sky mirror, okay? SkyMirrorAstrology.com. And you'll get the app site where for $5 you can get an app for your phone that'll go give you the chart of now, the most simple, easy, carry in your pocket sort of thing. I mean, we're in the age of Aquarius. And you don't have to, study people to learn astrology. No. You can use your app just to study whenever your dog barks. Anyway, SkyMirrorAstrology.com. If you put a /TV on it, you'll get my website where you can review the last show. I don't know how many there are on there now, 4 or 5. I think YouTube is piling up some. But get the app, watch the show, begin to use astrology like it was used 2,000 to 4,000 years ago, much to everybody's benefit. So you're on a full moon right now at 15 Pisces. It trines Saturn, put Saturn back in power. You had a whole month of people out in streets and stuff, and then all of a sudden, here come the rules and the laws and all these guys laying it down. Whew. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's start with Friday, September 12th, and look and see what your next 10 days, next 9-10 days is like. Okay, here's your chart. Here's where the planets are at the beginning of your week, and little markings outside here to show how far they go. Saturn's still on a seesaw with Uranus. He'd like to get rid of the people in the street, and the unions, and the environmentalists. Can't believe it. Some people over on Oahu having to dig up the the stadium track in the high school because somebody dumped the ashes from an incinerator that the armed forces had, and they were in the ground, and the ashes contained asbestos and lead and dioxins, and now they say they're going to dig it all up and haul it someplace else. Yeah, and here on the Big Island, the local government wants to put an incinerator into Hilo. Oh! Here they're dealing with toxic ash years later from the Department of Defense. Yeah. Saturn is kind of empowered, but the moon, over here, in Pisces, trining Saturn, huh? It just, you're starting your week with the Sun sextile Saturn pretty much exactly, and it must seem to you right now that the rules and regulations are all for everybody's benefit. We must all follow them no matter what. Look out. Venus will sweeten the pot a little bit. At the end of your next week, she sextiles Saturn and says, oh yeah, we can all relax. We can have more pleasures, more sugar if we follow Saturn. Okay, enough politics. Pluto is coming up in your world. Yes. And Pluto is an interesting character. Rules Scorpio, if you know the sign Scorpio. And he's going to stop in the sky on the 23rd. Now, 20 days before that, 20 days after that, you're going to be dealing with Pluto a lot, whether it's the bugs or the guns or the police or the volcanoes. Pele will have her say you can bet on that. Pluto's stopping place is in trine with Venus when you start your week. But she squares Uranus, old Pluto does. She? Yeah, I think of her like Pele, I guess. Anyway, it's going to get more serious. We'll talk more about it later. But eek a bug, you might feel more and more panicky as you come up to the 23rd. Little panic attacks over, you see a big centipede rolling along. Eek a bug. A policeman in your rearview mirror. Eek a bug. How's it going to go day by day? Well, we're going to run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern, and as it makes angles, 30, 60, 90, 150, 120, 180, multiples of 30 to these actors on the stage, like Pluto, we'll the drama on the, this is generic now, it's not your chart, okay, but the drama on the public stage and in everybody's life generally follows right along. And as you start your Friday morning, gosh, look at that. There's Venus, a trine, coming out of Taurus. Moon went into Taurus in the middle of Thursday, 9/11. And sometimes I wonder if they picked that day those guys did to bomb the building because it's on our phones everywhere, 9/11. Call 911, eek a bug. Well, it's pretty nice on Friday. Really early in the morning, here's a nice sextile to Neptune, and there's color and music and faith and some bliss. And Venus is kicking. Venus is trining Pluto, so it's sexy, and there's sugar and sweets Friday morning. And a trine to Pluto. Boy, Pluto's kind of a happy camper. The girls and the priests are all supporting him, and then bang, there's an opposition. Oh no, it's a square. It's an obstacle. Squares are obstacles, 90 degrees. Here's a rock in the path. It's Jupiter. What, lawyers? 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 Yeah, comes up. Overdoing it. Overdoing it. Lawyers do. Anyway, it's Friday afternoon, and late in the evening, actually Saturday morning, here's the opposition to Saturn. Here come the judge. And now you get downright depressed and a little angry about the rules and regulations and the Saturns and the constrictions and the old traditional ways, Won't last long. An hour or two later, there's a trine to the Sun in Virgo. And you say, look, I'm going to do my thing no matter what. And that's the way you'll probably wake up Saturday morning, which feels pretty good. Now, here's a word of warning. Here, Saturday afternoon and evening, there's an opposition to Mars. So if you're planning on doing chores involving hots and sharps or physical stuff, look out. You might get by with it in the morning, but you won't in the afternoon and evening. And there's temper tantrums, and there's fires, and there's fights, and there's anger. And it's squaring Neptune Sunday morning. It upsets your peace and quiet, and you can't listen to music, and gosh, is this all for religious purposes, it looks like, because here's fighting and here's religion. And they're kind of hooked up together. Don't like it much, do they? Well, could spoil your Sunday. Not exactly a good time for church. Sunday the 14th. In the evening, well, the moon went into Gemini, see, it went into Gemini here Saturday after dinner, and as soon as it did that, then you started catching all these temper tantrums and confusions. Temper tantrums first, then confusions. As you go through Sunday and the moon's still in Gemini, you're going to hit the sextile to Uranus and a trine to Mercury, and your mind will take over, and good information and common sense, secular thinking, not belief and faith, will make you angry. I believe this, and you're angry. No, I know this. I think, therefore I am. That's Descartes. Start thinking with that. So it works pretty good. It's late Sunday night. You stay up late. And, Monday morning, here's a square to Venus. You can't get any rest, and there's no goodies, and, it doesn't feel too good. It continues through Monday the 15th when there's a square to the sun in the afternoon, and you can't get nothing done. Kind of a wasted Monday, late Gemini. On Tuesday, the moon's in Cancer on the 16th, and feels pretty good. There's a trine to Neptune, and, after lunch in the afternoon, and there's, some color and art and music and sensitivity, and the priest, artist, doctors are smiling. Feels pretty good. And then on Wednesday, everything changed. Early Wednesday morning, here's the opposition to Pluto. Eek, a bug. Panicky. What is that, a volcano? An earthquake? Sirens? Police? Bugs? Well, I hope you got some rest, because probably Wednesday morning you'll wake up early, and there's a feeling of panickiness, and which develops into technical problems, and this could surely be big weather events too on September 17th. But I think you'll feel it more personally. I mean, this is late at night, you're in bed, and here's opposition to Pluto. What, I got a flea in the bed? Uh-oh! Keep a cat. All the fleas will go on your cat, and they won't get on you. The Wednesday ends with a nice trine to Saturn, and this is way after dinner and into the evening. And it, if you got yourself organized, there's a square to Mercury. You can't communicate it, but if you got organized, you're going to feel better. And on Thursday morning, there's a sextile to the Sun and a trine to Venus, or sextile to Venus. And you got some good plans there Thursday morning, the 18th. And I'm sure you can get them all done. It'll feel good. The moon's in Cancer well through the middle of Thursday into the late afternoon. Friday, the 19th, is an interesting day. The moon's gone into Leo, on Thursday night. And it's in the Jupiter zone, wisdom, lightning bolts of truth. Nice trine to Mars early Friday morning. And so you can get physical stuff done, be the hero. And by the time you get to Friday afternoon and evening, the moon's going by Jupiter, and you're understanding a lot more, and there's a whole bunch of, aha, now I see it clear kind of stuff. Now, there's also the trine to Uranus here. And that means a lot of these truths will be secular. I mean, it seems like the age of Pisces, we put our head in the sands and we ignored a lot of stuff, and it's coming out now. And you start to see through some of this belief system that you're expected to believe in, and realize your common sense works best. That's what this country's about. That's what this nation's about. That's what this Woodstock generation is about. And they'll have their say Friday night. Well, into Saturday morning before the, lunchtime, before lunch here, then the square to Saturn comes in, and the other guys say, you can't do that. It's against the rules. No, you can't do that. You went outside the line. You didn't read the sign. Lines and signs. Rules and regulations. Whew, tiresome. Saturday morning, the 20th. But the kids are happy in the evening, and go and be a kid again, and your attitude will change. That's your free will, your attitude, and it'll change, and you can stop worrying over lines and signs. Sunday morning, time you get up, the moon's in Virgo, there's the old new moon there at 2 degrees of Virgo. So, this could be a good new moon. It's kind of a reflection of all the stuff that's gone on for a month. That's what happens when the moon returns to the new moon point. But there's an opposition to Neptune. You've had a whole month of saying, I don't like Neptune, the water, the waves, the flooding, the rain, the chemicals. So you'll feel some more of that on Sunday. And well into the evening. And you won't get to the Venus zone where it's really nice till Monday night. But late Sunday night, early Monday morning, the 22nd, there's a trine to Pluto. And at least you can handle the fleas. Anyway, Venus zone will come up Monday night, so you'll get some rewards. Pluto, has a good side. A lot of the Hindu farmers keep a cobra in their rice field, and they bring him into the village and show him off, and he's kind of tame. They feed him, and the cobra knows the people. He even stays in their hut. He doesn't bite people. He's their pet cobra. He eats the rice. He eats the rats and the mice that eat the guy's rice. So he keeps the snake out there in the field. Did you know that's what snake charming is all about? A useful way to use Pluto. I have a little a wasp about this long that comes in the house tracking big cane spiders. He's a beautiful wasp, blue-green, iridescent, and he goes around like a little bloodhound with his nose to the ground. And every place the cane spider went during the night, the little wasp follows him till he tracks him down and disposes of him. So I always congratulate the little wasp and make him feel good. There's useful things to Pluto. Pele gives us land and fertilizer, yes, with her Vogue. And she's very useful. Isn't just destruction. Policemen could be useful too, believe it or not. Well, I'm here at the last couple days of August. Mars has gone by Saturn. Remember that your president, Obama, has had a full moon right on his rising sign. And I can't believe it, but here we are on the wrong side of it again, bombing people. And if you really looked at with your common sense at what happened, somebody convinced our government and our president, probably the CIA, to go that ISIS was a bad group. And they should go bomb them and help the Iraqis. And, of course, that helps Assad, one of the worst demonic dictators we've seen. When they started rebelling against Assad, he said, somebody put LSD in all the water supply. Anyway, here it is. We started bombing those opponents of Assad, namely ISIS. The president can't say ISIS, he says ISIL. They're trying to change the word on you. But he starts bombing them. Next thing you know, out they come and they behead this guy. And beheading is really a painless way to die. Yes, the astrologer and the chemist Lavoisier proved that in the French Revolution. Off with his head, held it up, he blinked 12, 15 times. If you were in pain after that beheading, you'd be yelling, but people don't. So it's, we botch our executions, but suddenly this beheading, they put it on video, got to be horror, and there's all these people with these tremendous adjectives, bloody horror, worse, and next thing Obama. Well, they said they did that. They executed one journalist because Obama started bombing them. We started the fight by bombing ISIS. Yes. And now they're back at it again. On today, Thursday, the moon just hit that Uranus-Pluto square, and by golly, ISIS executed 250 Iraqi soldiers. Well, if Iraqi soldiers, and especially, Assad's boys catch any ISIS, you bet they execute them right away, take no prisoners. And then up comes CNN, and there's a girl on there saying, oh, bloody horror, blood all over, a worse thing. And you see these guys marching out in the desert, and then you see their bodies lined up. There's no heads falling off. There's no blood. Seems like they were cleanly executed. War, yeah, war is a terrible thing. But here it drummed up all the hawks in the U.S. and we want to go and bomb ISIS. And at the same time, the United Nations came out and said, Assad, the very people ISIS is fighting, Assad is using chlorine gas and barrel bombs on his people. Chlorine gas again. He's done it several times in the last week. Wow. Oh, ye hypocrites. You know, how could they do such a thing? Here we are supporting Assad out of just ignorance of what ISIS really is. And all because it was drummed up by the media. Well, I'd a lot rather be beheaded by a guy like that than I would be killed in the American jail system. Yes. And as long as I'm on this rant, look, more cops killing more people with handguns. In the Old West, there were signs outside most towns that said, you carry a concealed handgun, you're going to jail. They confiscated them and they wouldn't. So here we are, licensing, you know, like 007, license to kill, and we got all these people walking around with guns killing people. Handguns. Now, there's no reason those cops have to carry handguns. Historically, soldiers and cops have not carried handguns. They're bulky, heavy, you can't hit things with them. You know, to kill Michael, a guy had to chase after him. So these things are useless. And you know, the police now have zapping weapons. And you're gone and you're on the ground shivering. Very effective. They have gas weapons. They have all kinds of things that don't kill you. They're not lethal force. There's no reason to have these things around. The police accidentally kill people right and left and themselves. And, you know, if the Big Island outlawed handguns, and that includes federal agents, like the guy who shot the innocent at McDonald's on Oahu. No, Oahu won't do it. They're too browbeat by the DOD and stuff now. But the Big Island could. You know what would happen? Tourism would double. Yes, in the Orient, they hate handguns. We have a reputation for shooting. A lot of people would come to the Big Island on their vacation if we eliminated these things and we didn't allow police or FBI or CIA to carry them either. Carry a long gun if you have to go around with a gun. Put it on your shoulder. You know, we don't care. But outlaw these handguns. If there's any sanity in this country about guns, well, I doubt that. But it's an interesting part of the passing scene, the circus we call the American experiment. Bah. Bah. Can't hit a thing with them. Useless things. Too many movies. Okay, here's the way she looks. Pele. Stopping at 10 degrees 59 minutes of Capricorn in your ephemeris on the 23rd of September. You know, you can get an ephemeris like this for about $20 online. Yeah, Michelson, I think, is the publisher. And they, you know, they cover 50 years or 100 years. And you can get stuff out of these books between the Sky Mirror Astrology app for your phone for $5 and a $20 ephemeris. Man, you're in business. You learn it yourself. So, okay, so it stops here. Let's take a look at the charts and the astrocartography. It doesn't seem to be hitting any high impact things of full moons or new moons or bad angles to other planet. Maybe Pele will be gentle with us. Okay, first I'm going to check on that September 23rd new moon. This is my location, and it's always a good idea to relocate the chart, that new moon, into your location. See if any of the angles are afflicted, and apparently not. So that's good news, huh? See, while I'm at it, I want to go back and check. Here's a full moon September 8th. We got a new outbreak on the Big Island, lava flowing in a new area. Big meeting of homeowners there just the other day. So this looks okay. How about the 3/4 moon? Saturn at the top, some Worries about government. Jupiter over here, too much rain and thunder and stuff after September 15th. New moon September 23rd, well, we checked that. Okay, here on the astrocartography, this curvy line is Pluto on the descendant. Nobody's liking Pluto here. And this goes by a hot spot down here where the nodes are active. And Uranus is on the midheaven, some chaos. So we could have some volcanoes and evacuations here is the guess. Another hot spot is over here where Pluto's the dotted line running up through here on the bottom of the chart in the home. Well, it's unlikely to be volcanoes here, but Uranus is in opposition. So this is probably Ebola virus. That's Pluto. Eka bug. Evacuations, isolations. Yeah. And Pluto on the midheaven, a public thing, is this line running right up through here. And it goes up through an interesting area. Here's Pluto. Now the ring of fire is down through here. You could have volcanoes up here that could disturb people in various ways. Okay, here's the U.S. government chart on the inside. 5.5 Gemini rising, 12 Aquarius on the midheaven, and around the outside is the September 23rd new moon at 1 degree of Libra. And when you look at the angles, well, here's the biggie. Here's Mars. Here's these young men opposing our Uranus. You know, the crazy media blowing up the war drums is already saying, "Oh, ISIS, can it strike our homeland there?" You know, come on. But here's the fear of it, and here's heat and fire and fighting, and the U.S. government's in a fighting mood. They think Mars is challenging them. I was brought up with the gun in my hand as a patriot. Hard to see your own country. Here's great quotations by George Seldes, and you look up the United States, and here's one by Balzac that says, "If I had remained another day in that horrible United States, where there is neither hope nor faith nor charity, I should have died without being sick." Woo. Bald McLeish. This guy says the remedy for the U.S. is to get rid of churchly hooligans and flag-waving corporations and the rest of the small but bloody despots who have made the word Americanism a synonym for coercion and legal crime.